Okay, hello. It's time for Advent of Code again. I'm gonna jump right into it, but I think what I'll do is for these early ones, I'll like kind of walk through my whole process, my whole thought process, because they tend to be pretty quick for the first at least couple days. And then once things start to get a little bit longer, I think rather than do a whole time lapse, I might still play that just because I think it's useful to see how often people switch back and forth between looking up something they don't understand, which is quite often, even for experienced programmers, which I don't know if I'd consider myself. I won't do what I used to do, which is switch back and forth between that. I might just play that quickly in the background while I explain the solution I eventually came up with, and then I'll do a walkthrough of kind of the algorithm or functions that I wrote. Um, but yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and look at the first day here. Okay, so for this puzzle, we're going to be given a list of numbers that looks kind of like this. The blank lines will separate elves, so each connected or like contiguous group of lines is a list of all of the items in each elf's backpack, the number of calories in that item. So for instance, this elf has a total of 6,000 calories, this elf, and this elf only has 4,000 calories, this elf has 11,000 calories. And we're looking for the um, total number of calories carried by the elf with the most calories in their backpack. So step one of all of these puzzles is going to be to get our output. And you can see that it's a lot longer than the one that was in the example, but that's okay. We'll call it input.txt since it's just a text file. So the first step is going to be to get our list of the elves items. So we'll do that in the normal way we read a text file, which is with open input.txt read as f. And here we could just iterate through the lines with the file open, but I like to just go ahead and read everything into a list right away. And the other thing is we'll want to convert all of these to integers, right? When you first read in a text file, it's going to get read in as strings because that's what a lot of text files will have. And to do this, I'm going to use list comprehension, which is basically a way of packing a for loop into one line and returning a list from that for loop. So we'll say calories, well, we'll just call it lines, is x.rstrip. So we're going to remove that the extra new line at the end for x in f. So what this is going to do is it's saying for every x in the file, make me a list that has all of the R strip of that X. I could just as easily call these both line, maybe to make that more obvious how that's working. So for every line in the file, return the stripped line into the list, and then we'll return that as lines. And so let's go ahead. Oh, and we actually want, I mentioned this, we want these to be converted to integers. We can't do that yet though, because these blank lines are going to cause a problem. So uh, let's just go ahead and do this for now. So let's see if we can, and then oh, let's print the lines. Great. So you can see that uh, we've read in the file successfully, and so the next step is going to be to split these into each individual elf. So we'll have a new list called elves, and then for snack in lines, if snack, we'll just say if not snack, right? Because the empty string is going to be false. Then elves.append current pack equals list. So we have a current pack, which is where we'll put the items as we read them from our list. And then if we hit an empty line, we will put the current pack into the elves because it's a distinct elf, and then create a new empty current pack. We can say else snack current pack append snack. So here what we've done is we've said if the snack is not empty, just put it in our current pack and move on to the next snack. Otherwise, take the current pack and that's a complete elf, and then make us an empty current pack. And then the important thing is at the end of this loop, we'll have to do this part again, append the elf, because there's no blank line at the end here. So we wouldn't ever append this last elf that starts with 2953. So we'll just go ahead and copy that there. So now, oh, and we want to append the int of the snack. This is where we'll convert those to integers. Now we have this list of integers. Let's go ahead and print elves just so you can see what we've got. We've got a list. We should have a list of lists of integers. And indeed, that's what we've got, right? You can see that now they're not surrounded by quotes. They're integers, not strings, and they're nicely grouped by elf. So now we can just print max of the sum of elf for elf in elves. Again, using a list comprehension here. So this list comprehension part is going to, for every elf in elves, make a list that has those sums. So it's just going to add each of these independent lists. So then we'll have a list of single integers. Then we'll print the maximum of that list because that's what we're looking for. So hopefully 71, 471. That worked. So now part 2. Okay, so part 2, we want to just add the top 3 most calories. So let's instead we'll make this list called total calories. And then if we sort the total calories, we should have number 1 first, and then number 2 second, etc. So now if we print total elf calories 0, this is part 1, and then part 2, print sum total elf calories 0 through 2, 3. Okay, so hopefully now, oh, so we've seen a problem here. I think it must sort them in reverse order because we can see that the answer we got here is not 71, 471. So let's try reverse equals true. There we go. That's funny. So it sorts them from low to high. And there we go. So that's it for today. It's pretty quick. Yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this and found it useful. And if you have any suggestions, just let me know. Thanks.